It's important to know why you want to be an educator, of course, and also how you plan to change it. Just keep that passion in mind as you progress. You'll need to come back on that, I'm sure, at some point in your teaching career. My name is Ms. Bonnie Chambers. I'm the Director of Assessment, and myself, along with Mr. Mathis, we teach 2199. 2199 is required, and it's a new requirement that we instituted in fall of 2011. So most of you were informed of it when you became a candidate in teacher education. So we're going to tell you why you're here today. We're going to talk about, let's see, I have on my little clicker. Oh, here we go. We're going to talk about our conceptual framework. Does anyone know what the conceptual framework is? Never heard of it? Not yet? Okay, well, you will. We're going to talk about what unit and key assessments are and how they're important to our program here. We'll register live text, do a live text demo, and we will email a survey. And if there are any questions along the way, of course, you can ask them. So, as you know, you all were automatically enrolled in 2199, and it consists of this one-time seminar course. And it's 3 modules. And the first part is live text, which is your e-portfolio. The second part is orientation to the College of Education, and it discusses our expectations, the degree and certification requirements, as well as the conceptual framework and unit dispositions. Finally, we'll discuss degree works, and that is your academic planning piece. As I said, it is a requirement, and it's a 2-part requirement. You have to attend this course, and you have to purchase live text. Is anyone familiar with NCATE accreditation? Who is? You're nodding your head? Oh, I heard of it. You heard of it, okay. NCATE is the national accrediting body for teacher education preparation programs that your college here at Albany State is accredited through or by. And what it ensures is that you have that we are accountable, that we're responsible, and that we make decisions on the program and decisions based on data. It also means that you have a quality program. It's the cream of the crop, as we would say. And I'm going to take you to the website to show you, to confirm if you ever just want to go there and see that your college is indeed an accredited institution and program, if it goes there. And also, as you'll see at the bottom, along the same lines with Albany State, the other major schools that are accredited are Emory, University of Georgia, Valdosta State, Mercer, and other schools, but those are some of the major ones. And what that means is all of these schools, as well as us, have to meet the exact same standards. So we're all in the same category, so to speak. Okay, so this is NCATE's website, and you can click on this link. All right, so I have to log into my account. Give me a moment. How many of you have already used live text or had to submit assignments? Oh, so you're easy breezy. Okay, cool. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. All right, for all my students who are not familiar with live text, this is your live text dashboard. On your dashboard, you should see, this is a dashboard tab. This is like your home page. You should always see if you'll see any announcements there, if you have any from your instructor or any instructors. You'll see any active assignments. These are some of my test assignments. And this one is a journal project assignment. As you can see, it's due April the 4th. To the far right, you should see all of your courses listed right here. Again, if you don't see courses at any time in your live text account, let your instructor know or me know, because we import it straight from Banner, so it should all be there. To the top of that, you'll see terms, so you can go back in a term and look at fall, for example. But for this term, make sure it says spring 2013. Make sure you're in the current term. Okay, so now we're going to go through and just create this assignment that I have, 2199, the philosophy of education assignment. So I want, did any of you bring your philosophy of education from 2110? It was in your letter and on the website. Okay, well, I'll just have you just type a sample philosophy. How about that? Just to something short. Okay, so we're going to click on, today, I don't have, well, we're going to use February the 8th one, the second one that says Philosophy of Education, February the 8th. The first thing you do when you see an assignment, you're going to click Begin Assignment. And you have 3 steps in order to submit your assignment to your instructor. Again, these will be key assessment or assignments, as well as other assignments that you might have to submit. So your instructor will provide you with any details or resources, as well as a description of the assignment and what you need to do in this area. This one is just a resource of some sort. It's a video. Okay? So that's step 1. You want to look at that. You know when it's due. Okay, step 2. When you get down to student teaching, you'll use this template, which we will use. However, for some of your assignments, you won't have a template, but for this one, we will. And that's a standardized format of how the instructor or we want your assignment submitted to us. Okay, so that's step 2. Since you have a template here, we're going to click Begin Using Template. Is everyone with me? How did I get there? Okay, you go back to the dashboard. You mean from the beginning, from the dashboard? Okay, sure. Okay, so go back to the dashboard. And since I already started this one, it says Continue Assignment, but yours should say Begin Assignment.
My dashboard has my class on it.
You don't have it? Okay. Are you in the right term? Are you in spring? Okay. All right. Well, that's okay. Just follow me along. I will just show you here, but this will give you an example of an idea of what you need to do if you don't have this assignment. It's a sample assignment, so it's not mandatory. It's just one that I create. So I'm going to click on Continue now since I started that one. And where's my template? Did it go? Since I already created this assignment, it created the my file in the Documents tab. So if it's from a template, it creates a new file from you based upon your account, and it's in your Documents tab. And I have to find it. Let's go back to I'm going to go back to my Begin Assignment because I don't know what I did with it. Okay, so you're going to click Begin Assignment. We're going to begin using the template. And it's going to open up the template. This is how your electronic portfolio looks. As you can see, it has many assignments that you will do. This is the student teaching one. So in that one, you'll have your final philosophy of education, but you'll submit that later. But this is how a template will look. It's a pre-formatted with all of your pages. These are pages and sections that are already included in the template. So what you'll have to do when you get ready to do an assignment, for example, if you had to do an assignment, you would click on the section or the page. I'm sorry, click on the page. So we're clicking on EDUC 2110, which is where you did your philosophy of education. And it opens up. Okay? I'm sorry? No, this section, this area in your document opens up. Okay? So you need to submit your philosophy of education, for example, to your instructor. You're going to hit Edit. Again, now some of your assignments won't have a template, so you'll just be doing edit like I'm doing and adding your assignment, right? So you would copy and paste your assignment from Word or a text editor. You can copy it, you'll copy it and paste it into this section. So I'm just going to delete this and name it. I'm going to rename it so we know that I did this work today. So I'm going to rename my paper if I want to. I'm going to copy and paste my philosophy of education here, but today I'm just going to type it, but you're going to copy and paste here. Okay? In here, if you needed to add, there's formatting here across the top. You also have the ability to add a hyperlink. If, for example, you needed to link something in your assignment or document, you could do that. And how you do that is you type the name of, put the text there, you click on the hyperlink button, and then we type in the hyperlink. Oh, I guess you. And now we have a hyperlink to ASU. Yes.
The assignment's not showing.
Right, I know. That's why I told him to just follow along. It's not there. So they just have to follow along with me. You also have the ability to insert images at the bottom as well as attach files. So you would just hit the edit button to add images and edit button to add file attachments to your assignment if you need to submit those with your assignment. Once you do that, you're going to hit save and finish. And now my assignment that's inside of a template is ready to be submitted to my instructor. Okay, so now it tells you at the top, continue to step 3, which is the final step. You're going to click that red button. Those other pages in that template, they will remain blank if that's not part of your current assignment. So just don't worry about those. You're just submitting the assignment for your philosophy of education paper at this point. Okay? Any questions? Okay. All right. Yes. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You had to create, if it was a assessment or portfolio or something like that, you will always choose assessment. Let's go here. Create new live text document. So once you begin an assignment, if you're not using a template and you don't have something you're attaching, say for example, you've already done your work and you're attaching it, you need to create a document in live text. That's what she's talking about, because you can type it right in here, or you can copy, well, you would type it right in here. So for the folder, you would choose assessment. Template is DYO. Is that right? But it was blank. Did you save it? So this way, I'm creating a new document. So I have to name it. So you would name it whatever your assignment is. This is a new document, and save as a new document. This, again, is if we're creating a new document for our assignment in live text. Okay? So we're going to save as new document. And this is where we need to edit. So if I had this assignment and it needed to be my philosophy of education, I'm going to go to Manage Pages. I should say. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to change it to my philosophy of edit titles and change it to philosophy of education assignment. Assignment. Okay, now I have a paper that's called the Philosophy of Education assignment, right? I need to save and finish this, and you'll see it becomes renamed the Philosophy of Education assignment. In order to type anything on this Philosophy of Education page, I need to click and change this section. So you will always just change this section, the text and image. You're going to click to the right, and then you'll go back and type whatever you need to here. So I don't know why yours was blank. Did you type anything there? Did you save it? Okay. We'll have to figure that out, but yeah. So you're going to type in here, and we're going to hit save and finish. I'm just going to put again, this is a test. Oops, test. Save and finish. Okay, again, it tells me now, since I created an assignment, the final step is to submit this assignment to my instructor. So you're going to hit continue to step 3, and there's one final button you have to hit in order to send it to the instructor to have it graded. Also, if there are any comments, you can type them here in the box. If you want to tell your instructor something, there's a comment box here. So you could type it there. You're going to submit assignment. Okay, it tells you that your assignment has been submitted, when it was submitted. This button, withdraw submission, this is important. In case you need to withdraw that assignment, you forgot to do something, or for example, hers was blank. Maybe she realized it after she sent it. Oh, my assignment was blank, or I forgot to attach something. You can hit withdraw, and it'll bring the assignment back and let you edit it again, as long as your instructor hasn't graded it. So you can always hit this withdraw submission button and correct it. Okay? But this is how your assignment looks when it goes to your instructor. I think I put it here, 2110. So they would know what assignment they're receiving, so they would click on the appropriate page to view your assignment. What they're going to do is look at it and grade it using a rubric. And once you get your assignment back, it will have the rubric attached and how you were scored for that particular assignment. Professors also have the ability to add comments. So if you were graded a certain way and they wanted to provide some comments or feedback, they have the ability to do that electronically right in here in your assignment. So you know where you need some growth or have opportunities to grow at. So back on the dashboard, you can see I've submitted that assignment and it's waiting to be assessed by your instructor. When it has been assessed, the button turns green, and again, you'll click on it, view your assignment, your grade, etc. And that's it. Any questions? So, as I said, your assignments will show up in here, will be your key assignments. Your instructors will tell you about your key assessment, what it is, when it's due. Some of you are already having assignments being graded and doing other things in live text. It's up to the instructor how much they use it, but you will be using it going forward in your program. It's a few other things I want to tell you about. Here's the file manager to your right. That's the file manager I was telling you about, that you can upload your documents and use it as file storage. So instead of you carrying around a USB, if you want to upload your assignments or documents here, you can. They will be found in your Documents tab. So if you upload some documents, they're in your File Manager. When you create a new document, it's in your Documents tab, like that new document we created within Live Text. That is in the Documents tab. Other things too, your account should also have some video tutorials to the left. So if you want to click on those, it'll go through step by step exactly what we did. If you forget or need to refresh yourself, they have very good videos that go step by step to show you exactly what to do and how to do it. Also, in the help area, you'll find paper copies of the same thing that I did.
This user video will show you how to submit course assignments.
Let's go back and look at it.
To begin, log into your LiveText account. The first screen you should see whenever you access your account is called the dashboard.
So again, it just reiterates what we learned, or if you need to have a refresher. And as I was saying, the help button also has information for you as far as when you get ready to submit that electronic portfolio. It's called a visitor's pass. It's right here. It's very easy to create, and so you can just click here and it will tell you how you send a prospective employer or someone else your electronic portfolio. So if you want to share it with someone or someone else to view it, you would use a visitor pass. Again, it tells you how to hyperlink, how to use attachments, etc., how to view your assignment. General. And if you ever have any technical issues with your computer and LiveText has support, and these are the hours of their support as well as their phone number. So you're free to call them and ask for help. Also, you can call me if you're having problems. I will have my phone number up at the end. I'm happy to help you in any way. If you need, to find out how to do something, or you just need someone to sit with you and do it, I can do that. All of your instructors have been trained in LiveText as well, so they can help you to some degree too. Let's see, what else am I leaving out? Okay, let me leave you all with my phone number. It's Ms. Chambers. I'm in this ACAT building. If you don't remember, you can go over to 244 and ask where I am, but I'm actually in 252. But my phone number is here, 430-4685. And again, if you don't see your courses that you're enrolled for, let me know. You can also send me an email. Let me give you my email address. I should have put that up. It's bonnie.chambers. Chambers at asurams.edu.
If they register late, the course may not show up. And they'll have to go in.
Right. That's why I need them to tell Teresa if they haven't.
Or if they drop a class, they may have a class posted, but it doesn't go away from LiveText.
Right, and until I update it. Yep. Okay, thank you all very much. Again, if you have any questions, need any help or guidance, let me know. That's all for me. Now, Mr. Mathis will do the second part.
Better teacher. So you do a reflection on your own skills, and then you do a reflection on your students. And what do you need to do to adapt instruction so they can better learn? And that's part of what we do, is reflective teachers. Transformative means you will change yourself, and you will change things that you do as a teacher so that you become more effective. Transformative means you're going to be working with your kids so that you're going to transform their knowledge, their awareness, their ability to do things and interact with people. They will become stronger and more effective. You right now are primarily freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. We have some, occasionally we get a freshman, mostly sophomores and juniors. When you become a senior and you go into your field experiences and you go into your student teaching, you will have been transformed. You'll be different than what you are today. Your language skills will have changed. Your knowledge content will have changed. Your understanding of what education and how education works will have changed. You will be a different person. You will have been transformed. Now, you're just starting on a path because you've got a long career. And hopefully, you will transform as you become a teacher. You know, the old joke is, I knew a teacher once. She had 30 years teaching, 1 year experience. Hadn't changed in 30 years. Now, think about that. You don't. You have to constantly be in a change, transformative mode, don't you? Things change constantly. So reflective, transformative practitioner. Being able to reflect on your personal skills, your knowledge skills, your teaching skills, making changes, understanding your children's knowledge, skills, and how they perform, and helping them to make changes. That's what makes you a reflective practitioner. Come on. There we go. A culturally responsive practitioner. We live in a diverse world. If you're working in our region of the state, it's changing. Go out to Helen's Flea Market. Go to Walmart on Friday or Saturday. It's a different world, isn't it? It's a different world. It's not just the old, we got black folks and white folks. That's not there anymore. We've got folks of all kinds coming in, don't we? And with our Hispanic population, Hispanics more than just one group of people. If they're Hispanic, they could be from Mexico, or they could be from the islands, or they could be from Argentina, which speaks German-based languages, by the way. They're still going to be labeled South American. They're going to call Hispanic, aren't they, even if they don't speak Spanish. But we have to be aware of that. You go to outside of Atlanta, there's a school district there where there's 44 languages spoken in the school. High-tech school. So they bring kids in from families in from all over the world. Are they going to have cultural differences that you've never heard of? Yeah. In our schools, then, we as teachers have to become aware of the different cultural groups out there, be responsive to them, and teach them to be responsive to us. It's a two-way street, isn't it? It goes both ways. We have to be aware of them, sensitive of how they are, and then we have to help them to adjust, and we have to adjust to them. It goes both ways. Okay? Culturally responsive practitioner. You're going to be hit with it because you're going to have different types of kids in the school, and you're going to have to make adjustments. For example, we have kids who can't eat pork. We have to deal with that, don't we? We have kids who can't participate in the holiday events. February 14th coming up. Sometimes classrooms have parties, don't they? Some of the kids may not be able to participate in the parties because of religious beliefs. They're not allowed to do that. You have to be culturally aware. So how can you work with those kids so they don't feel left out, but you don't offend the parents? That's what we have to do as teachers, isn't it? We have to be aware of the cultural differences of the kids within our own section, our own class, and then make adjustments for them. That's what we mean by being culturally responsive. Technologically competent. I've been into 2 major workshops this week, and technology is involved in them. They didn't work. Yesterday, we were an hour and a half into the presentation, and the clicker finally started working. We're near the end. Today, we're running technological issues. Technology is wonderful as long as it works. Technologically competent means you have to be able to use a variety of technology. And technology is more than electronics. What do you do if you have a great PowerPoint presentation and the computer doesn't come on? You modify your instruction. You got your notes. You go to a different format. You pull out your black pen, or if you got a chalkboard, you chalk, don't you? Still technology, isn't it? Old-fashioned, but it's still technology. That's what you have to do as a teacher. You have to be versatile enough that you can adjust, okay, to the use of a variety of technology that's out there. How many of you have had a chance to write on a smart board? Who's in my class? Have you written on a smart board? Yeah. If you take a class from me, you're going to get a chance to touch it, feel it, see it doesn't work as great as you think it does. Find out it's hard to write on that thing. If you touch it anywhere, you get a mark. And guess what? It doesn't always work the way you think it's going to work, does it? You'll find a blank spot. We did get that one fixed. You'll find a blank spot in the board because somebody's been messing with it. Oh, do your kids mess with your stuff when you're out of the room? Uh-huh. People play with things, and they put things in there, and they do other stuff, and you have to kind of watch that, don't you? You have to make adjustments. We put the work order in. They did fix that. As soon as I got out of class, I went upstairs and emailed Miss Luke and said, we got to put a work order in. Okay. technologically competent, being able to use a variety of different types of equipment in the classroom. A variety of it. You'll have opportunities to do that. By this time of the game where you are in your educational training, you know Word programs. You do. Most of you know how to use Word. You can upload. You know how to do that. You know how to save, transfer information. You're not very good at the Excel programs because you don't use Excel very often, do you? And how many of you have done a PowerPoint presentation? You will do more of those. You'll get better at the PowerPoint. But as a classroom teacher, you're going to have to be able to do those common things. You're going to have to file reports in Excel, attendance, all those kinds of things, FT reports. You know, you'll have to do those things, so you have to become a little more competent in those skill areas. Not master it, become competent in it, okay? Be able to use it and feel okay about it. Most of you can use email. All of you can use email, okay? You can use email. Oh, when we talk about email, when you're in the public schools, understand your email is not private. Your email is not private. Your email belongs to the school. Y'all be aware of that. So that tells you then, don't put anything in the email that you wouldn't want to be on the front page of the Albany Herald. Because Albany Herald can file a Freedom of Information Act and get your email if they want it. And they do things like that. They literally can do that. Oh, I deleted it from my computer. Nice. You didn't delete it. It's still on the server downtown. Okay? They have to back up and save things, so they save them on the server downtown. Be aware of that. So technology is a good thing, but you have to know what's going on with technology. Technology in the schools. Video cameras are everywhere. If you don't believe me, look at YouTube. You'll see things with teachers on YouTube that you shouldn't see, don't you? Be aware. Cameras are everywhere. And they get out there too. So don't do anything that you wouldn't want to be posted on NBC News tonight, because it's going to show up somewhere, somehow, isn't it? Technologically competent. Be aware of what's out there. Be aware of that. How many of you have an iPad? One. Okay, one. Interesting. Right now, the Valdosta City School issued iPads for one of their whole schools. Every kid in that school has iPads. So we have one person could go in there and have an understanding of the iPad right now. Think about that. Yes, they would train you. They have training sessions for the teachers, but they use iPads so the iPad can project on the screen. All kinds of cool things. I've got a link on my iPad that's called Smart Technology that shows you what you can do with the different things with your iPad. Okay? So you will get training in those different types of things. Believe it or not, by the time you graduate in a couple of years, technology will have changed. It's changed in the last 2 years. It has changed. And it will continue to change. And you will have to make the adjustments as the changes occur. They're only on the tip of what they can do with technology. They're amazing what they can do. If it can work. As long as it works, it's wonderful. So technologically competent practitioner, can you use the technology that the schools have for instructional purposes? As a professional, can you use the technology in the schools to complete your professional duties? That's the bottom line. They will have training programs in whatever school district you get hired in that will teach you what system they use, because almost every school system has a different software package. Just think about it. Today, I heard the question about Moodle. Does LiveTech work like Moodle? Yes. Is it the same thing? No. You have to learn a new software package, don't you? So whatever school district you go to will have its software packages that you will have to make adjustments and learn. That's just part of it. That's what we have to do. So, going through those, come on. There we go. Everyone in this room has been admitted into student teaching. I checked you a few minutes ago. I checked the list to make sure everybody's on the AT list. Every semester, your professors check the AT list to see if your name's on the list. Well, I've been admitted, I'm on the list. Well, what happens if you fall below a 2.5? I put a big red GPA right next to your name. They'll see that. That says you're not eligible to be in the class. You can't take 4,000 level classes if you don't maintain the GPA. The first semester we did that, we had 44. The second semester we did that, we had 21. The third semester we did that, we had 6. Last semester we only had 3 who didn't make it. People know we're checking the GPAs every semester, so they're making sure their GPA is up above the 2.5, isn't it? Oh, an interesting article in the newspaper, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, this week. And the title of it was Educational Standards in Georgia, Training Programs for Teachers. It mentioned the 2.5, and it said, is that high enough? Now think about that. Maureen Dowdy is the educational writer for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and so she was taking a look at these things right here that I've got posted. And of course the question is the standard high enough? Interesting. Outside folks look at things like this. They do look at this. Gates Basic. You've passed that. You've been admitted in teacher ed. Unless you're a transitional student, transfer student, you've already passed Gates Basic. That's a requirement for certification. Now listen carefully, every semester you have to go through a background check, don't you? Not just once a year, every semester. Now, starting this last semester, we started screening the background checks at pre-registration. Now, why are we wanting to do your background checks during pre-registration and advisement? That way, when you start the next semester, you're cleared to go out and start your field experiences, aren't you? You don't have to wait 6 weeks, 8 weeks to get your background checks back in. We're running all of our background checks through the Albany State Police Department, aren't we? So we can get them back faster. We've made some changes. We've been able to get it to be a more effective system. All of your background checks go to Miss Carver, Miss Erica Carver. You'll get to know her name if you don't know her name. Miss Carver is the field and clinical director. She's in charge of all your field experiences, and she's in charge of your student teaching. That's her job. All the criminal background checks go to her. She creates a master list. She sends the master list out to the professors who check it to make sure you can get your field experiences completed. What happens in a class if you can't do your field experience? You lose a lot of points, don't you? It can drop your grade dramatically, can it? It can drop your grade a letter grade at least. So that's something to think about. Now, none of you are going to have this happen, but here's some things that have happened. We've had teachers who were rocking along, good GPAs, up to student teaching. Background check comes back, they can't student teach. Something happened over the summer. Something happened. I had it happen over Thanksgiving break. A young student, they're having a football party. 2 of his roommates leave. He's there at the house with the rest of the folks partying. Somebody calls the police. Police come in. Y'all need to calm it down, get quiet and think. Do you mind if we look around the house and make sure everybody's okay? Sure. Foreign substance in ashtrays. Who's arrested? The person's name who's renting the house. Him. Not the 2 guys are gone. It's in their room. Not in his room, but he's the owner of the house at the time. He's arrested. Young lady had gone home for a break, was in a car in Atlanta. Car gets pulled over. Foreign substance in the car. Who's charged? Everybody in the car. Okay? Shoplifting. Yeah, shoplifting. A dare. A dare costs your career. Okay? Don't do things like that. It'll show up. It will definitely show up. If there is a felony, you can't stay in the program. If it's a misdemeanor, it depends on what type it is. If it's a misdemeanor with moral turpitude, you can't be in the program. Those background checks, we had a big stack about that tall, came back. We also had a yellow folder about that thick with ones that had kicked out. Ms. Carver, myself, and Dr. Fields, we go through those. We verify whether they can stay in the program or not. Depends on what the reason why it was kicked out. Those are checked every semester. Keep your nose clean. Stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble. Don't do things that could cost you your career. Okay. The seminar you're participating in today is a requirement, isn't it? You're checked off. You're in good shape. The other 10 that didn't show today, they'll have to make it up in the session, won't they? Okay. Professional dispositions. Be careful with this one. Professional disposition. Attitude counts. Attitude counts. Here's what I want you to think about. Starting today, I want you to put this in your head. You're on a 2-year job interview. Who wants to go to work when they get out of school? Who wants to go to work as a teacher? Who's going to give you the recommendations? Oh, you're on a 2-year job interview, aren't you? Every professor you have is a potential reference, aren't they? Cut an attitude with them, and what happens to your recommendation? You don't get one. Professional dispositions. Every school you go and visit for your field experience is a potential employer. And folks, I'm going to tell you, the assistant principals and principals talk to each other. They don't live in a vacuum. They have administrative meetings. And if you're good and you're effective and you're strong, they share the information. If you have the attitude, guess who they're going to talk about? So when you go out in the school, dress as a professional. Talk as a professional. Engage with everyone you meet as a professional. These are potential employers, potential references. When you get to that point where you're student teaching, who is going to be your strongest reference? Your mentor teacher that you work with for the semester. Strong reference, isn't it? Your principal of your school that you're working at. Strong reference. Your supervising teacher from the college. When I worked inside the school system, at our leadership meetings that we would have, I can tell you, if we had an outstanding student teacher, the name was passed around, because if someone had a position, we wanted to try to make sure we got them. If we had a student teacher who was not very good, the name was passed around because nobody wanted them. Follow what I'm saying? Follow what I'm saying. When you finish school, guess what? You're going to have a nice resume. You're going to have a good GPA. You're going to have to pass the GACE Basic. You're going to have to pass the GACE Content. You've passed those things. So what gets down to the decision making for employment? Everybody who submits the application is going to have pretty much the same qualifications, aren't they? So what makes you stick out that I want to hire you? And I've fired people. I had 44 employees in my site. I would have to hire teachers. I'd have to let teachers go sometimes. So why would I want to pick you? I want a person who can join my staff, who's going to make my staff stronger. who has a good attitude, a good work ethic, and can get along with the kids, the parents, and the other teachers. That's who I'm looking for. And then if they got some other special skills that make it really icing on the cake, I want to know about it. If they're good in music, or they are artistic, or they do things that are outside the community that really adds to the school program, yeah, I'd like to know about that. Because we do have plays and activities and things in the school, don't we? The first semester, first year I taught, I got tagged to do the music activity for the school, and I've got the music skills of that thumb right there. So I found my student in my classroom had the best music skills and made him the music director. He led the music activities. I can't do it. I can't carry a note that well. So I found the best student that could and put him in charge of it. We had great little music activity. Now, the kid got to highlight his skills. I got to look good. And I didn't have to do it? But I had to know to find the person that could. So you don't have to be able to do everything, but you have to be able to know how to identify folks that can and build on it. You know what our musical instruments were? How many folks ever heard of a kazoo? We were in poor school. We couldn't buy instruments. Little plastic things you do like this. And we sounded pretty good. I was amazed. I can recognize good sounds. I can't make them, but I can recognize them. Okay. Yeah, and as a teacher, you're not going to be good at everything. You're not. So identify what you're good at, identify what you're not good at, and then accommodate it. Accommodate it. Professional dispositions. Some things to know. How many of you sleep with your cell phone? Be honest. How many people leave their cell phone at night, put it on the bed when they go to bed at night? Thank you for being honest. More of your hands need to go up. I know y'all do that. You got to answer that text no matter what time of the day or night. You got to respond. Okay? Your generation, this group coming through, cell phone addicted. You really are. Because you will grab those things in a split second because you're so trained to do it. When you go into that classroom for field observations or student teaching, put that thing so you can't respond to it. I got a call from Northside Elementary School. Principal called me over and said, Mr. Mathis, we've got a problem. We had a student teacher over there who was texting under the desk. We're past midterm. She can't stay in our school. That's against our policy. You remember what I told you earlier about principals talk to each other? What other school in the system would take her? Nobody. Because they talk to each other, don't they? First question the principal asks, why are you transferring her? Why are you transferring her? Why couldn't she stay over there at that school? So she had taken incomplete for that semester. We were able to talk to another county, and another county agreed to take her on probationary status. Had a conference with her and her mama together because she wanted to bring her mama. Okay. Told her what the problem was. Told her what danger she was in for finishing. She had the best student teaching you can imagine the next semester. She didn't even take a phone to school with her. She did such a good job in her student teaching that schools hired her at the end of the semester. I'm just letting you know, you can learn from your mistakes. That first semester, she kind of had a disposition problem, didn't she? Kind of had an attitude. She just didn't understand why. She was in so much trouble. Kind of had to get her past that. Things like that can catch you up. Now, in her case, it worked out really well because it woke her up. And she did a great job. She graduated with a master's degree. She's got her T5 certificate right now. She's doing great. Now, those cell phones can get you in trouble. Some schools have a policy of no cell phones. Some schools have a policy of you can have it, but it can't be on. Some school systems have a policy, you can have it, and you can have it on for emergencies. I would tell you best practice is, if you can't keep your hands off of it, lock it in the trunk of your car when you go into the school building. If you can put it on vibrate and don't have to reach down when it vibrates, keep it on you. But if you can't, lock it up someplace where you can't get to it so it doesn't get you in trouble. Okay? Promise you. I have a friend of mine who's a principal was interviewing, and in the middle of the interview, the phone buzzed. A young lady grabbed her phone and said, "Wait just a minute. What happened to her application?" You got it. It got thrown in the trash can, didn't it? You're in an interview deciding what's going to happen in your career, and you let a phone call interrupt you. Okay? Professional dispositions. Turn that thing off. Oh, by the way, school policy here is that you're supposed to have your cell phones off in the classroom. If they go off in the classroom, some professors will take points off your projects you're working on, your tests, those types of things. I always announce to my class, turn it off now. Last semester I had one go off. I walked over and put the -10 on the paper, and the class said, "Ooh," whole class went, "Ooh, don't be so hard on him." I said, "What did I tell you before we started the test? Turn it off." Okay? Got to think about things like that. You're young professionals. You need to start acting as young professionals. You're on your career track. Criminal background checks, your transcripts, your liability, medical insurance, GACE scores. Who knows what the BSE is? Oh, good. You're going to learn something today. Everybody's got to have a BSE. Did you know that? Everybody in this room has got to have a BSE, and you don't even know what it is. Beginning school experience. You know, that period of time, anywhere from a couple days to a week before school opens, you have to have that before you can do prep for teaching and student teaching. Oh, you can only do it once in the year when school opens. That's the only time you can do it, isn't it?
Like open house?
That's it. You can only do it the once in a year. So if you're a junior or a senior, the only chance you got is next summer, isn't it? This summer that's coming up. Oh, go to the College of Education home webpage, click on the forms, and look at the BSE application, because you have to apply. And then there's the requirements that are in the package that talk about what you have to do in beginning school experience, okay? You've learned something today. Saved you a headache. You've got something you've got to get done. Because you have to have that before you do prep for teaching. Beginning school experience package. It needs to be completed and turned into Miss Carver before March. This year? You need to go to that website. You need to look at that beginning school experience package. You got to identify a school you're going to do it in. The principal of that school's got to sign the agreement to let you come do your beginning school experience there. Then you have to do your beginning school experience, and you got to turn that package into Miss Carver, don't you? Whoa, we've learned something today. Yes, ma'am. On the College of Education home webpage.
What if you're not doing any?
Huh?
What if you're not doing any student teacher anytime soon? You still have to have.
You've got, then you may have 2 summers, okay? If you're not doing if you're not planning on student teaching fall or spring of next year, then you've got 2 shots at it. But some of you plan on student teaching either in the fall or in the spring next year. That means you've got to do it this summer, okay? I would say the sooner you get it done, it's one less thing to worry about. The sooner you get it done, one less thing to worry about.
So we can do it now and it can be ready for whenever
Yeah.
we're ready for it.
So think in terms of trying to look at that beginning school experience package, get it completed, get it turned in, check that off of your to-do list. Okay? Oh, okay. When you're doing your student teaching orientation, all this is required. By the way, starting this semester, you got to have your medical and liability proof to go out and do your field experience, don't you? So you got to have that anyway. How do you get your liability insurance? Join one of your professional organizations as a student member. It's a lot cheaper. Okay, a lot. $12 to $20 usually. How much was it?
$7 for 1 year and $12 for 2 years.
Okay, 7. Okay, is that the
1 year.
okay? That's a great one. Yeah. Go with the one that doesn't cost so much. Okay. I'm a member of CEC, so I have my liability insurance through CEC. I can't pay student membership. I have to pay a lot. Okay. But join your professional organization, be a member of it, and you have your liability insurance. Medical insurance, if you're under 25 and your parents have insurance, you're covered, okay? Obamacare. You're covered on your parents up until you're 25. Okay, so you have proof of insurance if your parents have some form of insurance. Okay, you got that. There is a waiver for that. If you're over 25 and you don't have availability for insurance, you have to write a letter that waives that. If you get sick or hurt, school's not responsible for you being sick or hurt. Okay?
So do we need medical insurance on file with college education?
Do we now?
Do we need medical insurance on file with college education? Medical insurance?
No, we don't have it through that.
I was saying that you need to turn our form of insurance on
Yeah, you'll have to turn your insurance form into us. You'll literally have to make a copy of your membership into the professional organization and make a copy of your medical card when you get to that point when you're doing that, okay? All right, now we've got that. As a student teacher, it's important that you have your schedule, that you send your schedule to your supervising professor for that semester. And if something happens so your schedule's altered, you update them. For example, I have driven to Cordele, okay, to observe a teacher, and they went on a field trip. Now, I should have been notified before I drove all the way up there, shouldn't I? Yeah. Don't mind you going on a field trip, if that's what your school's doing. I want you to participate in it, don't I? Just let us know. Because we have set schedules too. Okay? Things like that do happen, so keep people apprised. Oh, by the way, when you student teach, you follow the schedule of the school you're in. You don't follow Albany State schedule. You don't get 2 spring breaks or 2 fall breaks. You only get whatever one the school has. Follow what I'm saying? You're on there for those X number of days and you have to participate. If you're out more than 2 days, you may have to make some days up. Think about that. Professional dispositions while you're out there. If you have a sign-in chart, you sign in the time you get there, not the time you're supposed to be there. Follow what I'm saying? You sign in the time you got there, not the time you're supposed to get there. The secretaries, I'm going to tell you, they watch those sign-in sheets at the school for both you and the regular ed teachers. Now, most of the schools have the swipe cards now. At the end of each month, the principals take the swipe card that are printed out, and they take the sign-in sheet, and they look at them. I've had to have those conferences with my teachers. You're consistently 5-10 minutes late. You need to leave home 5-10 minutes earlier. Fix your schedule. Some of the things is they'll total the minutes and deduct the time from the employee's salary. 10 minutes a day, that's 50 minutes a week, isn't it? Multiply that by a month's schedule and you've lost 2 or 3 hours worth of pay. That's serious, isn't it? Some are that rigid with it. So when you go in there, especially when you first start teaching, find out real quick what they do at that school, and you follow it closely. Okay? Don't get yourself in trouble. A little side note, as a new teacher, the first 2 years, they can let you go for any reason they want to. Once you've got your third contract, then the fair dismissal law kicks in. But until you get that third contract, they don't have to tell you anything. They just say, we don't need you back next year. Okay? I was reading an article while y'all were working on Live Tech, Atlanta Journal-Constitution, talking about the new teacher evaluation system called KEYS. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. Part of Race to the Top. Have you heard of Race to the Top? Okay. It's part of the Race to the Top program. They're highly critical of Georgia's KEYS program. Be aware of that. That means that they're going to probably have to change it. It's one of 3 states that's at risk under Race to the Top. What did Race to the Top replace? No Child Left Behind. That's the substitute for No Child Left Behind. As part of Race to the Top, it puts a stronger emphasis on teacher evaluation. You're evaluated on your professional disposition, you're evaluated on your teaching skills, you're evaluated on your students' performance. On your students' performance on the state and national test. Okay? Evaluations. For you as a student, you have evaluations when you do your field experiences. You have evaluations when you do your student teaching. Typically in student teaching, the professor will come out 4 or 5 times. SPED, health and PE. You can select it by your field. You can select it by the counties. You can select it by the position. Athletic director, lead science teacher, coordinator, assistant principal, principal. So there's different ways you can look at different kinds of jobs. You click on the links, you select the jobs, submit it, and all of a sudden, boom, you got a whole list of them. Then, most of these sites, you can do electronic applications. Most of the sites you can do electronic applications. So you can get your name into a whole bunch of pots. Now, if you're willing to relocate in Georgia or relocate, you'll find a job. You will find a job if you're willing to move. If you want to stay where you're in one particular county, a job has to open, doesn't it? Okay? So think about that. That's a good site to visit. There's jobs posted today at that website. There are. Science folks, always jobs posted. Math folks, always jobs posted. Special ed folks, always jobs posted. Early childhood, not so. Lots of early childhood teachers out there. They're a little harder to find. Okay? Now the good news for you, my age group retiring left and right. Okay? The baby boomers are getting to that point for retirement. They're leaving the field, opening up positions for the new ones coming in. Okay, be aware. There'll be a lot of folks retiring over the next. In fact, the last thing I read, it said 1/3 of current teachers will be retired in the next 5 to 10 years. 1/3 of all teachers. Oh, you're not restricted to Georgia. We have reciprocity agreements with other states, so that you can go to another state, Florida, a lot of states. In fact, we had a recruiter from Florida come up to our last student teaching seminar. Superintendent down there, he gave the speech and then he handed out applications. Because you can go to Florida, you already have a teaching certificate. They'll give you the provisional certificate in Florida, good for 4 years. Usually you have to take their version of GACE and their history class, History of Florida. My daughter interviewed on the phone, got a job in Colorado. She was given a provisional certificate. She had to take History of Colorado, take their version of GACE. She was certified in Colorado before the end of that year. Okay? I think we have reciprocity with 47 states. So if you're certified in Georgia, your certificate helps you in the door at whatever school system you go to. All right, let's see. And you can be certified in multiple states too. A lot of folks along the Alabama, Florida, Georgia line hold certificates in the different states. Yes, Mark. You can go back to Florida and get a certificate down there. It's not hard at all. You still have to take the, quote, class. You know, that's just what states do. Because you might wind up teaching the history of Florida. Even as a health and PE person, sometimes they have to teach those odd classes. So I'm telling you, that's part of the reason why they do it. Yes.
Does that affect your retirement, move from state to state?
You can't take your retirement from state to state, but what you can do is that when you go into a state, most of the states allow you to buy teaching time for previous teaching time. So you can do it through the back door, okay? What I would suggest that you do is if you do get money into the teacher retirement system, leave it there in case you come back to Georgia, okay? This is to the young ladies in the room. If you take a baby break, where you're out for a year or two because of the babies, don't pull your teacher's retirement out. It's going to be tempting because you got a little pot of money sitting there. But it's hard to buy back once you got out because it's hard to come up with the money to buy back in it. So leave it there. Once you get 10 years into the teacher's retirement system, you're vested. That means you're guaranteed a retirement after 10 years. Your retirement's calculated by the number of years you teach and your highest 2 years salary average together. Okay? Take the number of years you teach times 2. If you teach 30 years times 2 is 60%. Your highest 2 years salary, let's just say it's $50,000, then your retirement would be $30,000, wouldn't it? If you taught 35 years, okay, it would be $35,000 because it's 70% times the 50. Now, if you were making $100,000, it'd be $70,000, wouldn't it? Now, but a little side note: one of the quickest way to get your pay up is to go ahead and get your graduate degree, your master's degree, as quickly as you can. Because on the pay scale, it's based upon number of years experience and degree earned, your certification. There's about a $5,000 pay jump for the T5. There's another $5,000 jump for the T6, and another $5,000 for the T7, the doctorate. Okay? So that's the quickest way to get your salary up. Quickest way. And then it's forever. I got my bachelor's degree in 72 and my master's in 73. You can do that. Let's see. Okay, the Teach Georgia website. Their graduate school. See, I was going to talk about graduate school. You need your T4 certificate. That's a gateway for get into the graduate program. If you're in the same content area, you don't have to take another GACE. If you're a middle grade math science, you get a master's of middle grade math science, you don't have to take another GACE. If you change content area, you have to take a GACE in that new content area. If you switch from early childhood to middle grades, then you're going to take the middle grade GACE to graduate, to finish, aren't you? Because you're initial in that field. Okay? I would strongly encourage you to get your master's degree in your teaching area. The state of Georgia only pays you for what you teach in what area now. They used to, it didn't matter what your degree was, they'd pay you at that level. They don't do that anymore. So if you got a doctorate degree in leadership and administration and you're teaching in the classroom, they're not going to pay you at the doctoral level anymore. You get paid at your highest certification level in your field. Okay? They've changed the rules about 4 or 5 years ago about that. When did the economy get really bad? About 4 or 5 years ago. Okay? Okay, that's my contact information if you need to contact me. All right, now, one last little thing. How many of you are familiar with Degree Works? Okay, hands down. How many of you have gone into Degree Works and looked at your program of study and looked at what you needed, what you didn't need? How many of you know about the fall-through courses listed on the very bottom? You scroll all the way to the bottom and look at your fall-through courses. Anybody in here a transfer student? Transfer students, don't panic when you look at degree works. Don't panic. Your classes are probably listed in the fall-through section. They don't always post everything in degree works efficiently. And my transfer students always, they go nuts. Oh God, I don't have these classes. Wait, let's look on the bottom, look in your fall-through courses, make sure of that. If you graduated from a 2-year college with a education major, areas A through F are completed no matter what degree work says. Okay? Don't you worry about areas A through F. They are done. Board of Regents rule. If you graduate from a sister college in Georgia with a 2-year degree in education, areas A through F are completed. I've got that posted on my wall. Okay? Went to Board of Regents, printed the rule out, and I post it. So people don't believe it when I tell them. So I show it to them. This is the federal state rule. You don't have to worry about areas A through F. Okay? But it won't show up in degree works, will it? Because you may have a different course number or a different course description, and so it doesn't show always. So transfer students, areas A through F, don't worry about them. They don't always timely post your GACE scores, GACE Basic, and degree works. That's why I have you submit a copy, verify that you have it when you put in your application for teacher admission, when you're admitting teacher ed. I got a copy in the file room, don't I? Whether it shows up in degree works or not. We've got a copy. They link degree works with Banner, so degree works is only as effective as what's in Banner when they link it. Okay? So if you do drop add after they've done the switch, it may or may not show up in degree works immediately until they redo it. The fall through courses on the bottom, to remember that. In degree works, there's also a section in the very top corner. It's called, there's 3 sections up there. One's the general page when you look at all your information. The second page is the planner. We can lay out your 2-year schedule, put in courses, plan when you want to take them. How many of you know that we have a rotational schedule for classes? Good. Okay. If you don't, ask your advisor when you go in for advisement about the 2-year rotational schedule. That way you'll know when classes are offered so you can plan. Now when you meet with your advisor, they're supposed to take in degree works and put your classes in there as you plan so you can lay it out. Okay? Typically summer school, the summer semester is the kind of when we catch things up where we need a demand for classes. So those may or may not rotate like they're supposed to, because if we've got a real demand for one class, then we'll open up a section of it. Yes? Yes. I've got them posted in my office. Go to your advisor. I want you to start working with your advisor and your department about that. They should have that for you. Yes.
I think I had one before, but is the rotations sheet, is it updated? Or
It should be updated.
it's updated.
Okay. It should be updated. Yes.
All the ones in the summer, are most of them online?
No. There'll be classes in-house and online.
Okay.
Yes.
During the field experience during the summer, how does that work?
Okay. Field experience, that's an excellent question. All right. If you're in a class during the summer and you have field experiences, remember, most schools have summer school, place for field experiences. We have things on campus, don't we? The summer programs, field experiences. Organizational groups have different activities going on in the summer for students, field experience. Most of the time you can ask that question of your professor and they will give you suggestions for where you can go to your field experiences. And a lot of the different classes will have pre-worked them out, okay, especially specific classes, okay? All right, excellent question. Other questions you want to ask about what's going to happen to you over the next 2 years? Yes? Wait a minute. That air conditioner's right behind me, so I can't quite hear you. Whoop. Okay, I got tied down.
That's just like a 2-hour class.
What is?
It's qualified as a 2-hour class.
Prep for Teaching is a 2-hour class currently. It's a seminar type class that meets up with the schedule. This semester, I believe they're meeting on Monday nights. And Ms. Carter,